My mama. Um, Hello, everyone. My name is Benita G. Hey, y'all. Happy Thursday. It's Tips and Tools Tuesday and Thursday. Where y'all been? We're going to get started. I have some a guest joining me. I'm so excited. For the month of April, I'm doing hashtag transitioning teachers and. I'm going to tell you more about it in a minute. Okay, but first I want to say happy Ramadan, happy Passover, happy Easter on Sunday, Good Friday. Did I do everything? If you don't celebrate anything, good day. Some of us have Friday off and Monday off. Some of us have Friday off, but go to work Monday. Some of us have all the days and you're just going to be at work. Either way, make sure you take some time out this weekend to take care of yourself. I'm going to let me see if I can look, y'all, it's been a long time, but now I'm back. Let me see if I remember how to bring people on. Okay, there it is. We're gonna see if we can bring him on. While he's trying to get in, wait, there it is. I think I see him.
Hey,
Hey,
what's up?
what's up? All right, so look, y'all, we're doing hashtag transitioning teachers and all the month of April. So your tips and tools Tuesday and Thursday. I have some guests coming in. I'm excited because they be these guests have helped me, most of them. Get ready to transition. But I want to do a quick shout out before we get started. Happy Assistant Principals Week. I've seen the pictures, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Y'all loving on assistant principals. I have a few I want to shout out that have been my assistant principals. Bless you. Cause, okay. Assistant Principal Daniel Stratford, Miss Mitchell in Newport News, Virginia, who is now the interim superintendent. She was the first one to tell me and make me understand all children from our special ed, IEP, 504 kids, all the kids in the building, gonna go on a field trip. I was like, yes, ma'am. Just I didn't know. I was new. I was like my third year teacher, fourth year teacher. Dr. Chin, let me tell y'all something. Dr. Chin out of DC that taught at Kelly Miller, when she was my AP at Kelly Miller, stretched me, pushed me, probably cussed me out underneath her breath sometimes. And she was like, look, these are the skills you have. You need to improve on them. You're a great educator. So shout out to Dr. Chin. And Miss Salvo, shout out to you. Homestead Middle, Miami. Shout out to you. Because you would be like, look, girl, get it together. Um, and my current APs who have literally held us down this year. I cannot explain. I will have to put it in my book. Miss Monies and Miss Buford, love y'all. Love all my APs. I have never had a horrible AP ever in my life, and I've been teaching for 25 years, and that goes back to even when I was in school. I couldn't remember them APs. Did we have APs back when we was in school?
I think so. I
Well, we're
don't.
not even in the
I
same age, so it
don't
don't matter.
remember, but I don't know.
I'm trying to think. I remember our principals.
Hmm. I
Okay, y'all,
remember my
if y'all
principals.
went to Taro or J. Solomon Russell Junior High or wherever y'all went and y'all remember our APs, hit me up, let me know, because I don't remember. I don't remember them. Okay, we're going to get started. Please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. We're going to start this tips and tools because I talked too long already.
Oh, good. Appreciate it. I was actually just going ahead and sharing this out to my network, so people gonna get you gonna get a message from me.
Yes.
Just lifting up support. But yeah, I'm Cedric Scott Jr. I am. Let's see. I don't want to run too long on the list, but I'm actually a career changer. Initially into education. I started out actually in science. I was a chemist first. Then I went into teaching. Worked primarily in Washington D.C. public school system there. Jumped in initially starting in elementary school. So I was an elementary school teacher. Worked my way up to eventually becoming the assistant principal. So shout outs to all the assistant principals. I've been there. And then I made the pivot again to go fully remote and working in ed tech, education technology, which is what I'm doing now. And I am also the founder of the number one movement for educators. which is called Edu Hustle. So it's, everywhere.
I think
And
here.
and the mission there is just guiding educators to maximizing their time, talent, and earning potential. So helping people get new jobs, people transition from being teachers into something else, or even adding something along with still teaching, and just supports regardless, however we can in the education space. So a lot of things going on. I did want to, if I can, really quickly just go ahead and throw out as well, because a big focus of mine in general is educational, empowerment. And I actually have a scholarship. The application is closing on Saturday, April 8th. So the scholarship itself is in memory of my mom. It's called the Julia Elizabeth Legacy Scholarship. It's also under a fund of the same name. It is for African American high school seniors who are going to be pursuing a STEM degree. So again, it closes on the 8th, which is Saturday, which is also my mom's birthday, and my wedding anniversary. So yeah, if you know anybody who is...
It's closing on the 8th, so you don't have to read anything because you're going to be busy.
Closing on the 8th. Last year, it was awarded on the 8th. Same premise, but the announcement of the winner will be on May 8th. So get that in. This is the second year that I'm awarding it, but not the last. So just wanted to throw that out. But happy to be here. I appreciate you.
Awesome. So happy anniversary coming up to you and your amazing wife. I've heard about her. And then, so I'm going to shout this out real quick. You wrote a book, since we're talking about love. I know it has nothing to do with teaching, but tell us the name of the book. Tell us how we can find it. Then we're going to jump into the session.
So, I've written a few books, but I think the one that you're talking about is The Young Black Husband's Handbook. And it's a guide to relationships for young men. And for me, it was, honestly, it was just the nature of, I didn't necessarily have a playbook per se going into being married. And for context, like my parents, they were together forever, and I lost my mom really young. My mom was 33 years old when she passed away. Yes. I'll be 33 this year. Kind of no coincidence there, I guess. But it wasn't until like right before my mom was really about to pass away, honestly, like that my parents actually got married. So for me, I knew what it was to take care of and provide and be there and stand in that void and do the actions, but the actual kind of aspect of like, being a husband with the title and what all comes with it. There was no blueprint necessarily for that and what that looked like. So, I mean, I was like, well, let me go ahead and create it and leave it, for somebody behind me. And that's everything I'm trying to do, is just really, it's the idea of kind of like hieroglyphics, right? You want somebody to come behind you, read the story, understand it, and be able to take it and run with it. So that's essentially what I did with that, because we need some support in the relationship.
We do. And that's how we're here. But I wanted you to throw that out because I saw it and I shared it and I was like, I love this. Because there's no handbook for being married. I mean, we have the Bible, but still, when it comes personal, to like,
being in the work, yeah, for sure.
And you need that. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna pivot, y'all. Sorry, it's my Instagram channel. If you don't like it, you can get off. But so I would say this: Cedric did one-on-one sessions with me because I am transitioning out of the typical classroom. So I've been in the classroom for 25 years, up and down the East Coast, overseas, kindergarten through middle school, which y'all know I love middle school, but I like elementary too, but I love my middle schoolers. And he has helped me. I would say the two things he's helped me with. One is my vocabulary. I know a lot of stuff. I know what I know. Okay, I'm gonna say that. But going into a field and transitioning out of education, the vocabulary we use there has to be transferable into my next career. So that's one of the things that he has given me, and he has a list. We're going to talk about that in a minute because I pulled that up and printed it out yesterday. I was like, oh, wait, let me print this out. The second thing he gave me was how do you say it? Going over my transferable skills. He gave me the boost of energy or the boost of confidence to realize girl, you know your stuff. And he didn't have to say it. We were just going through the list. And he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, yeah. So when I do this and do that, and when I interview, he's like, okay, but when you interview, you need to say it like this. So when he's here tonight, he's going to give us tips and tools like we normally do every Tuesday and Thursday for transitioning teachers. And so go.
So, well, first I wanted to shout out everybody that joined the call. Appreciate you all. I actually just saw a good brother that I met through another app. Goes by Dr. J, Jared. He's actually in the tech space, and he's actually, this kind of translates into what I'll go into. But one of the things that I heard him actually talk about was taking basically the industry that you're in and thinking about, well, how does that apply to technology, and how can you make that transference? And it's the same idea with ed tech, right? With education technology, where us as educators, we have boots on the ground knowledge, of just being in the school system, in the district. And shout out to my sister Brandy, she's here too. Another amazing educator doing great work. But yeah, just thinking about, well, how can we take what we do on a regular basis, which is kind of seamless. And honestly, sometimes I think as educators, we kind of downplay the strengths, if you will, especially veteran educators. Shout out to the veteran educators, but I don't think you give yourselves enough grace and enough appreciation. So in terms of that, right, thinking about your transferable skills, every single day you do things outside of instruction, right? Relationship building, even dealing with, project and product management, just to give it a couple of things. So related to that, it's the idea of, again, kind of what you were saying about the language thing. Whenever you're making a shift and a pivot, especially if you're considering something for context, I'm in ed tech, so the language is a little bit different, right? We have ed speak. We understand the IEP, the 504 plan. We get that. But whenever you go into a different space, you essentially kind of have to be bilingual, right? In a way where there's going to be the same types of terminology. However, in some cases, it's going to be flipped. And there's also going to be new stuff, right? New acronyms. We love acronyms in education, right? But there are going to be more that you need to know. And I think building on that, being able to understand what it is that you do really well and what you do innately and naturally, and understanding also that those things don't necessarily come as easily, right, for other people. So, thinking, you might look at something and say, you know what, man, this is nothing, right? Being able to lead, a group of 30 students, whatever age or whatever they are, right, in this content area, you might say, oh, this is nothing. I can do this in my sleep. But whenever you go into a different arena, it's like the value of that is actually heightened. But the question is, do you actually know, right? Are you aware of the value?
And the answer is we do not.
Right.
The answer is we do not.
In a lot of contexts, right? Because, and I was actually, I had an office hours call a little while ago today, and we were talking about this, and part of it was basically thinking about like the value, right? Whenever you go into, let's say, and I was trying to break it down this way, we have the education system, and then we also have the education industry. The system, right, is where a lot of us are kind of, I won't say trapped, but that's where we are, right? As teachers, we're in the schools, we're in the districts, whatever. When you get to the industry side of things, that's going to be fueled, and I don't want to take, I don't want this to go left, but you have to have money on the industry side. It's part of it, right? A company doesn't continue to run and roll unless they get revenue. They have to make money. So there is actually a bit of a cross convergence between the two, right? For educators, for example, with you, right? If you have an expertise in English language arts, there's going to be a company who is producing some type of product or service that is going to be directly aligned with helping people, teachers, students, whatever, with that subject matter. So you as a subject matter expert, hopefully people write that down, they take that information. You can take it and run with it and say, whenever I go into these companies who are producing these tools, these products, these resources, I'm an asset to this because I got boots on the ground knowledge. Excuse me, I'm coming a little cold, but I have boots on the ground knowledge. I have understanding. I've been in this space and been able to not only apply the information, but also do so at a high level, right? And then you got results, right? Whether it's test results or, some other metric or whatever. Then you can basically say, well, this is why they should listen to me. So when you get into, these scenarios with these companies or whatever, then you can say, you know what? I can inform best practices within this industry space because I understand best practices within the system space. Right? So that's the transfer.
Industry. So transfer. Okay, there it is. Because I was like, wait, transference is I am in the system of education.
Yeah.
Understanding who I am and what I have to offer, my subject matter expertise will be able to transition me and take those skills over into the education industry. Right. Okay. So system to industry. That is important. Yeah. Okay. So that's the first tool. I'm going to go back. So first tip number 1. First, you need to know who you are and what you are. If you're a subject matter expert, then you need to own it and you need to know it and you need to know the vocabulary of how to use the transferable skills. Then walking into the system and the industry, understanding that you're leaving the system, walking into the industry, and how can you use everything that you have used in the system and transfer it over into the industry. Okay, because we still need to pay our bills, but the industry also pays bills, and we know that. We know that News Ella just changed their free and paid subscription, and people on Twitter having a breakdown. But they are a business. Their job is to make money as a business, and our job as the system or as consumers is to push back, get along, find some money. We're gonna figure it out because they're like, we have what you need.
Exactly. And to that point, though, what I would say also is here's where the separation really comes in what I've seen. You see behind me, right? You can hopefully you can see the artwork. Shout outs to Abstract Art by Mela, an amazing Black woman who does digital art. The issue and concern comes in where you look at we'll say the teaching profession, right? Educators at large, but we'll talk about teachers. Teachers and artists are the only professions that I've come across personally. And y'all can, if you drop it in the comments or in the, in the chat or anything like that, if you know something else. But they're the only professions that I've heard of where it's like, oh, just do it for the love, right? To your point about the money, just do it for the love because you want to help people, right? You want to look out for other people. So don't worry about the accolades. Don't worry about the salary. Don't worry about, how you're going to feed yourself at length and your children and all those things, right? And then going back to EduHustle, maximizing your time, talent, earning potential, right? Because there is a clear disparity, has always been, with the salary for teachers, right? And the pay for educators, period. So thinking about the artistry, right? We got the late great Nip up there.
Yes.
You got to get to a point where, honestly, you internalize the appreciation and respect for your craft to the point that you then exude that so that other people have to appreciate it and respect it. And what kind of, I guess, to make it practical, one of the things I've been able to do personally in that regard is negotiate my salary, right? Going into a position outside of the school and saying, hey, I'm applying for this job, going through the whole process, getting to the point of, okay, we want to hire you, and getting the offer letter or having the phone call with the CEO or whoever, and them saying, all right, well, yeah, we want to bring you on, and this is the number. And this personal experience, I got the call, and it was, oh yeah, we want to, this is the salary.
Okay, wait. Hold on. Back up. Because you're already at the salary. I'm still trying to transition out of the class.
Sorry. Okay. So
now, I'm excited because I'm waiting for that phone call.
Going back, I can, let me walk it up there.
So we're gonna do two. Give me 2 tips. So we have 1 tip. I need to know I'm a subject matter expert, and I need to know what I possess. Then I need to know what I can transfer. I need to write it down because I'm gonna use that again. the system to the
Mm-hmm.
industry. Now, once I do that, how do I, give me 2 tips on how to navigate, because that's what you helped me with. Like, how do I
Gotcha.
navigate? Where do I find, where am I going to find these jobs? Like, where are these jobs?
Gotcha. Okay, so the first thing is once you do, step one, you kind of get the idea of the system versus the industry, your skills, whatever. One thing I kind of implore people to do, and I did this on like the transitioning teacher challenge that we had, you need to take an inventory. Take an inventory of your skills,
Yes.
right? Get a sheet of paper, write it down, right? What skills do you have? And then you want to also consider your interests, right? And I want you to write those things down, right? Both sides of a paper, your skills and your interests. The importance of this is because a lot of times, whenever we were like, oh, we want to shift, I want to do something different, we want to do something based on our interests.
Right.
However, what I've found is that sometimes your interests don't really align with your skills.
Yeah.
So you might want to go into curriculum writing, but on your resume and what you've done in your background, there's no remnants of you having any type of real like depth in curriculum writing. So
Right.
while you want to do that, I'm not to say that you can't get there, but at the same time, you need to look at, well, what am I great at, and figure out how can I leverage that based on those skills, right? And you'll actually find some overlap too, right, between your skills and your interests. So if your skills are instruction, and I'm great with relationship building, and then your interests are outreach programs or whatever, you'll find some overlap, and then from there you can begin to pair things together and say, okay,
Right.
well, and this is the tip here, right? After you do that inventory, then begin to look into, well, where does this stuff even exist, right?
Yes.
And this is where we get into maybe some of the resources. So a couple of things I would throw out in terms of resources. Number one, just in terms of even looking into like job titles that are aligned to your interests and things like that. There's one called Zippia, zippia.com, and it gives a really solid breakdown in terms of the general idea and description of a role and its responsibilities, as well as going even in depth into kind of like the day-to-day and like the demographic information, and of course it'll go into the salary too, which we'll talk about. Another resource that I would share, just thinking about the ed tech sphere, where I'm kind of sitting, because a lot of things I don't, and I want to say this real quick as a caveat, as an educator, I don't think we realize this, but you're in ed tech already. You are. The question of it is, what side are you on? Like, where are you sitting? Because if you're teaching in a school, if you're an administrator, if you run a daycare center, any of these things where you are leveraging and using any type of technological advancement, technology-based platform, whatever, to inform instruction or support learning at any level, even at the adult level, you're in ed tech. The flip side of it is, again, going back to the system versus the industry. That's where we have the differentiation, right? So you might be in the system perspective of, I'm using it to teach people how to do something, right? I'm using technology. We have it on a day-to-day basis with our teachers, and I'm leading professional development around it, whatever. The industry side of it, of course, is then taking the content. It is some type of product where it's been packaged and put into books or whatever, and then that's what's being sold, right?
Right.
And the actual the system perspective, you're not really buying anything, right? It's here, teach this curriculum, do it this way.
Right. So that's the part most of us who are transitioning out, that is the part that we are not. That's one of the many things that's making us transition out. We feel like that we are not really teaching or as a teacher, it's overloading. So like they want us to get through all of these standards before we test, and then you want the kids to sit here for 4 more weeks. I'm not sure why. So then I'm gonna do a recap because I want you to give me one more tip.
Yep.
So when we walk away, I know, okay, I have thought about who I am. I've looked at my skills and my interests. I've started studying how to transfer my skills and my subject matter from the system into the industry. And now I've used Zippia, so it's kind of giving me some headway. But now, okay, I'm still sitting in my classroom at 4 o'clock, contemplating like what I'm gonna do, how am I gonna transition. What's the one thing, if I get on Edu Hustle, I'm gonna see that's gonna help me say, okay, I need to go ahead and do this. What's the one thing you would say, okay, Benita, because I know what you said to me, but what's the one thing you would say to somebody that's coming and saying, Cedric at Edu Hustle, I'm a transitioning teacher, and what would be the one tip you give me right away?
I don't know if this is the one I gave you, but I mean, I would definitely lean into the networking piece. I mean, that's for me, especially being kind of like on the inside looking out. Yeah, I think a lot of times, you know, because when I made the transition and I was like, I'm going to leave, I need to do something different. I was applying for like hundreds upon hundreds of jobs, and had I known kind of the route and the pathway and what I wanted to actually do, you know, I would have been able to go at that a little bit more efficiently. So I think understanding that more than likely there is somebody probably in your network or, you know, of course, in Edu Hustle, that can tell you kind of the insider information of, you know, here's this, you know, go here, check this out. And even to the point of being able to link you directly with opportunity and with people
Yes.
who provide opportunity, right? Hiring managers or whatever, because there's not going to be any substitute for that network, right?
No.
You know, everybody uses the whole cliche, you know, your network is your net worth. It's cliche, but it's true.
It's true.
And with that in mind, it's like, well, there's not going to be a quicker route to getting the information than somebody who already has it that you're connected to. So, you know, LinkedIn is great in terms of, you know, connecting with people, networking, building relationships, but, you know, even more so just digging directly into even, you know, who you, like, look in your phone. Like, who do you know in your phone that is doing something related to what you might want to do, or, you know, even has the same mind frame as you that you can, you know, link up with,
Yeah.
and, you know, bounce ideas off of, because at the end of the day, it's going to be difficult, you know, in a lot of aspects, if you're going at this alone, and, you know, it can take a while. So I think being able to get to a point where you get into a network of people that you can trust for the most part, and understand, and even, you know, going even further, because I know right now that there's like, and I try to tell people about this a lot of times too, is there's like a huge push, and it has been, I think, since the pandemic hit and everything, of a lot of like coaches rising up, and you know, consultants, and just like a lot of people who are sharing a lot of things, which is fine. And I did a post about this earlier, talking about like, oh, you know, the general information that people share is great. However, there's a couple of different ways that you can gauge the supports. So for me, looking at it, I have to ask a couple questions. Number one.
Wait, I'm gonna stop you.
Go ahead.
We're not finna give y'all all the juice.
Oh man.
See, I know you finna give it all away. That's not how this works. It's tips
right, well,
and tools.
let me freeze with this. Let me go by saying
that's the podcast episode. Wait,
I got you. So let me close that out by saying networking is key.
Yes.
Tap into LinkedIn. Edu Hustle has a great network, Facebook group, all that stuff. Definitely, you know, join. I have an educator database that you can sign up for, get email updates, but get connected. Because if you're just out there and you just drill and kill and applying the stuff, it's most likely not going to work. It's not really going to work.
I'm going to piggyback off of that. He has a, you can do one-on-one, or you can do like small group consultant. And one of the things that I have figured out is that I am my biggest investment. So in order for me to make progress, in order for me to become a better person, because y'all know I believe in coaches and therapy, and I'm glad you said that, I have to invest in myself. So, you know, I was like, okay, I'm not going to be able to eat out for a couple of weeks. I'm gonna invest in this class with Cedric. But that class, those sessions, sitting there going over everything, looking at my resume, looking at what I've done before, talking about conferences I've spoken at, what did you speak about? You're a subject matter expert on these things. Really helped me understand, okay, now when I'm transitioning out, what field am I looking at? We realized that I don't like sales. Because I was like, I'm applying to all these sales positions, and I'm like, I didn't want sales. I want to be selling stuff. I want to be in there teaching you how to use the product. I don't want to sell the district the product. Let somebody else do that. So listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. We both have a podcast. What's the name of your podcast, Cedric?
So I have the Teach and Learn podcast. It's Teach and Learn. The L with the earn in parentheses, have the emphasis on the earn. And it's quick tips to empower educators. And yeah, I mean, it's basically I jump in. My episodes are really no longer than 5 to 7 minutes. I get in, get out, because people got stuff to do. Like, I'm like, look, get this information, and I'm gonna keep rolling. So you jump in, get the tips, get the info, and yeah, keep moving about your day. But yep, teach and learn.
They're really good nuggets. So they're quick nuggets. They go. My podcast is the Education Concierge podcast. It is not short. It is a 45-minute podcast, but you learn a lot, and I'm introducing you to different people. Cedric needs to come on. We wait on him. I don't know what he's doing. But I'm going to recap real quick. Tips and Tools Tuesday and Thursday. I have Cedric Scott on here. He's the owner of a couple of businesses, but we're talking about Edgy Hustle. He's wearing his gear. I need to get some gear, Cedric. We can talk about that. But I do. But my gear, that's your gear. I need my own. I need the education podcast.
I can help you do that too.
Yes. Okay. We're gonna talk about that, and we're talking about transitioning teachers. And I put the "and" on there because Cedric, even when he opened up, he said you might not be transitioning out of education. You might not be transitioning out of the classroom. You might be wanting to transition into, let me stay in the classroom, but I'm a subject matter expert. Let me make a little bit of money over here doing what I know. Or doing what I love. Depends on which one you want to look at. We always end like this. Hey, you're the best thing since sliced bread. Thank you for teaching our students. If you are here because you're going to make a move out of education, show up and go to Edu Hustle. And he has a plethora of free resources, but also you can hire, you can pay for stuff. There are downloads there. I'm excited about what he's done. When I found him, I was like, yes, because people don't always look like us, teaching us about how to transition out of education, and I was feeling stuck. And I was reading through and just understanding, and I was like, I'm not stuck. I need to learn how to transition. It is not an easy process for us mentally, because we've been in the classroom, and you've been in the system. And it's not an easy process getting a different job. Like it took me about 3 months to get a summer position. I'm still working to get a full-time fall position out of the traditional classroom. We just wanted to come on tonight. This is what we're doing all April. Hit us up. Let us know. Slide into the DMs professionally, LinkedIn or Instagram. Y'all know how I am. Thank you so much, because I know it's late where you are. Go check out his scholarship. If you have a graduating senior, Black American, Caribbean American, you know how we do. And they're going into the
Black
STEM field.
Senior. Yeah.
There it is. You go into the STEM field, apply for the scholarship. The deadline is April 8th. Rest in peace to your mother that you are doing the scholarship for. Thank you so much. And happy anniversary to you and your wife.
Thank you.
How many years?
8.
8
years.
8 years on the 8th. I'm done. I'm done. So y'all gonna sit in the scholarship, but he's not gonna look at it because he is anniversarying with his wife.
There's a team that's gonna pull in the application. It'll fuck.
They're doing that.
I'll see it later.
Thank you so much for coming on. If y'all need anything, slide in to the DMs. Leave a message. Leave some comments. If you want to join us, let us know. We're doing transitioning teachers and all the month of April. Maybe got something different, but April, we're going to help you. If you're ready to transition out, let us know. Edu Hustle, appreciate you, Cedric. Thank you. Y'all have a good night. Oh, happy weekend. And remember, self-care is not selfish. Do something for yourself this weekend. See y'all later.